Welcome to the Crowman Show with Morgan. Morgan's doing just fine. So, there's a few things I missed that I want to talk about, and there was also what I mentioned earlier in a past live stream, how I was going to answer a bunch of questions that I usually get asked on the street, because I get asked a lot of the same questions over and over again on the street with Morgan. And someone suggested that I do a live stream and answer some of your guys' questions if you had any. I don't know if I'll get to that, but there is two very important things that I did want to talk about, which was I never went over what happened at in San Francisco when Philip Anderson got punched and got his front teeth knocked out. And I also wanted to talk about what happened just recently in Sacramento too, because apparently Antifa showed up there. So, first of all, I'll start with San Francisco. So, in San Francisco, let's see, I showed up, and there was a lot of people saw the Antifa side. There was a huge crowd. I met up with Jordan. Obviously, it was exposed that he was there, and I kind of stood with him for a minute. But then he went on to, I'm not exactly sure where he went to go get some information, find out where some people were at or whatever, and so I pretty much just stood by myself on the Antifa side for a while, and yeah, they took pictures of me. And it was this the CBS guy. There's actually a news clip. I think it was CBS or maybe it was ABC. They, at one point, I got surrounded by all these leftists, and they all started pointing at me and saying the whole "no KKK, no fascist USA" thing. And he was standing there and he was filming them, but he didn't film what they were pointing at. He was just filming me. That was it. That was all he was filming. It was just them pointing at me and saying "no KKK, no fascist USA." So I was, for the most part, it was really, really hot. That was the most uncomfortable thing about the day with Philip Anderson. And I didn't realize, God, the camera, so many times I have this issue with the camera where I don't hit record. And for the first probably good 20 minutes when they were rushing the gate and charging the gate, I was right there and I thought it was recording and it wasn't recording. Then finally toward the end, I was actually getting really hot. I didn't have any water. I know my bird Morgan didn't have any water either, so we went and found a shady spot by the bathroom, and then a bunch of crazy stuff happened by the gate, and the whole crowd just kind of shifted off. But the craziest part that nobody knew about, that wasn't on film at all, was right when I turned off I think it was my live stream when I ended it at the park. Yeah, Morgan remembers this. This was a scary part for him. So I met up with two people that I know from the Bay Area Conservatives meetup group, and together we walked over to the park, and from there I ended that live stream and we were talking about what we're going to do. We're trying to figure out what we're going to go from there, and she's talking about getting lunch and buying us lunch and whatnot, and I'm on the phone with, I think, Jordan, and I turn around, and looking right at me is an Antifa dude. He's on his bike, and he's just looking down at me like this. He's got his sunglasses on, and he's looking at all three of us and everything. And I'm just like, and I should have said something on the phone about what was happening, but I didn't. I just stayed quiet, or I just finished the phone call, pretty much. Hung up, or like, bye. And then they kept talking, the two people with me, and they were talking, mentioned some, just enough things political for the guy to say, "Do Black Lives Matter?" And sure enough, it starts this little argument between the girl lady with us, and this guy who's I don't know, he looks like he's maybe 35 or 45, I don't know, but he looks like he's just downright down and dirty, uh totally punk street dude, past meth addict, I'm sure. And I tell her, like, just leave him alone, don't talk to the degenerates, just don't even engage with him, don't even give him your attention, whatever. I tell him, try to tell him, get out of here, just leave, like, go clean your fucking tent, dude, leave. And eventually he just gets mad that I don't want to listen to anything he has to say. And so he throws down his bike and he's like, all right, you know what, let's throw hands, homie. And he tries to get he starts like, he really tries to fight. He wants to fight. But anybody who sees me out in these things, you know that I don't go to these things to get into a brawl with anybody. I'm in a suit and a tie. Got equipment all over me, my tripod, and now I even have a bird with me. So I just, between him and the two people who were with me, one guy was, I'm not sure how, like 71 plus or something. Derek, his face was on a clip that ABC actually got an interview with him afterwards. And this other lady who was probably like maybe this tall to me, and also a little bit older, but not definitely not in her 70s. And they were behind me, and I just got held at my tripod. I had my, yeah, I was. So for those of you who are just joining me really quick, some people want to ask some questions about Morgan. I'm going to get to that, but I also wanted to go over two things that happened. What happened in Sacramento and what happened at Philip Anderson's rally in San Francisco, because I haven't been able to talk about that yet. I just never got around to it, but I'm around to it now. So let me finish this. So I'm in the park, and I got the bird on my arm right here. I don't know why he's on my forearm. We're in San Francisco. This is Philip Anderson's rally, the free speech rally, the big tech censorship, and yeah, it's the one where Ellen was there. She ran for mayor of San Francisco. They only spoke for about 12 minutes, and they had to end it because they were being pelted with garbage and bottles and eggs, so they just had to end it. And thanks, man. Glad you guys watch my streams, and I hope you enjoy them. All right, so after it was over, after we realized like the whole thing is shut down, and Antifa is basically running the streets right now, and they're doing whatever. I meet up with two people that I know from the Bay Area conservatives, and we go to the park by City Hall. We're staying there trying to figure out what to do, and this dude on a bike rolls up and he tries to start shit with us, and he throws down his bike. They get behind me. I throw up my tripod, and I'm worried about them. Literally, it just feels like it's me. I'm the one who, it's my duty to fight him, and I don't want to do this. I got them behind me. I got my bird with me, and my bird is my child. All right, I don't want anything to happen to my crow or anything, or anybody with me at all. And it seems like forever, for eternity, we're just going around. He's trying to get around me and my tripod, and every hole he gets, he takes a swing at one of the two older people I'm with. Finally, park maintenance, these two black guys get involved, and they try to get in between him. And the whole time, there's a news truck right there, and I guess they had to have been knowing what was going on. They were watching. So they get between us, and they try to tell him. I remember one guy says, when he's saying, "Now someone needs to beat these fascist asses," and he's like, one guy's like, "Not you, really, not you," and still, for I don't know how many more minutes, they're in between us, and they're not really doing a whole, like, not a lot's happening, not a lot's changed with these guys getting involved. But finally, they convince him, like, we're going to get you out of here. Right? We'll just walk you out of here, take you to your car. And I'm like, all right. So as they start walking with us, we assume that it's over, and we all turn our backs. Don't ever turn your back. So it was me, the lady who was with us, and Derek, the older guy, and then them two right here. And he maneuvers around, comes right between them, and all I hear is what sounds like someone just open hand slaps somebody in the face as hard as they could, like a pop smack. And I turn around and I see Derek on the ground at my feet in the dirt. and I couldn't believe that this had just happened. And I see that it's crazy. Antifa defends the big. Yeah. And I look up, and I see what the two guys are doing. The two maintenance guys. They're not doing anything. I'm thinking that at this point, this is all the reason they need to either tackle him, punch him, restrain him, and do something to stop him, because he just punched an old man in the back of the head. So, and I look really quick, and I see they're not doing anything. And I see, in my mind, nobody's going to get justice for him. Nobody's going to avenge him. Somebody has to do something, and I'm the only one to do it. So all I could do was, since I had my tripod still in my hand, I took it and I jabbed it at him twice. The first one missed. Second one hit him in the chest, and that's when my bird flew off. And I turn around to try and my glasses fell on the ground. I grab my sunglasses, and the dude thinks I'm still trying to go after the guy, or the maintenance thinks I'm still trying to go after the guy, and he tries to block me. But once I grab my sunglasses, first I check to make sure I'm not about to get punched in the back of the head now. And I see that one maintenance dude is finally running him off. And I look over, where's Morgan? And I see this hawk flying right into the park. I'm not even making this up. I just run in the direction of the hawk that the hawk is flying in. I don't even see Morgan yet. I just know that that's where the hawk is going. And sure enough, I see right ahead of me is Morgan. Anyone who's been downtown where the city hall is, and you see all the trees that are all lined up and the sidewalk, the path right down the middle, that's all you saw was just the trees and one crow right there in the middle and this hawk coming in. And I ran as fast as I could, and I was just yelling. I screamed his name, like, Morgan! And I couldn't get, I was still probably 20, 30 feet away when the hawk landed right on top of him, tackled him to the ground. And I ran up, and the first thing is, like, I have my tripod. I'm going to hit the hawk with the tripod, but like, what if I hit Morgan? I don't want that to happen. So I'll just drop the tripod and pull him apart. But as soon as I got up there, before I could do anything at all, the hawk jumped off and flew away, and I didn't have to do anything. And I picked up Morgan. He was okay. Like, not even his suit was damaged or anything. He was totally fine. I looked up. I saw Derek was back on his feet. He was okay. And I walked back with Morgan. The maintenance guy picked us, came back with us. I don't know where the other guy was. Hopefully, I was what it looked like. They just ran him off. He walked with us over to the elevator, take us down to the parking garage. And that's when someone from ABC or whatever the news, some mainstream news company comes up, and he's like, I want to interview you guys about what just happened. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. And Derek is like, okay, sure. And I said, dude, we're out of here. After what just happened to you, you really want to stay? And I hate to do this. Like, after what I just did for him, I didn't want to put I couldn't do it again. I did too much already. I did enough. I don't get involved like that. I'd love to. So we leave. She takes me to my car. I get out of there. That's that. Thanks. That's the story. That's the part of San Francisco that you guys didn't hear. He got an interview on that, and he just had a little brief cut where he was talking about how the guy punched him in the back of the head, and that was it. Yeah, and so Sacramento. Nothing more in San Francisco, unless I can. If I think of something, I'll let you know. But Sacramento the other day. So I showed up, and the first thing I did was I went and stood with somebody I recognized, and I actually didn't take the time to really look around. It's not really like me. And it turned out that behind me, from where the live stream was Antifa, and I kept hearing commotion going on over there, but I never actually went over there to check it out. And I did see some footage that there was actually some not just more than just arrest. There was an actual brawl that lasted, I don't know, probably a good 6 or 7 seconds or more, between Proud Boys and Antifa. And I missed all that, but I did kind of come a little close and saw some of the people that were being arrested. And other than that, you guys saw the rest of the live stream. Once I ended the live stream, nothing else really happened. We just got in the car and I gave some guy a ride home, and that was it. Diwali sucked, but it was good. Happy Diwali. Now, if anybody wants to ask me something about Morgan, I'm all for it. It's okay, baby. What's wrong? So Morgan's doing really well. He's really healthy. He's lost all his baby feathers and he's got brand new, shiny, silky adult feathers. He's still a baby though, because they're children. They're young for a very long time. They're like 3 years, 3 to 4 years. What's wrong, baby? You hungry? Oh. So I got to get him an egg here after this live stream. So I found that crows, he's asked me, how did I develop a relationship like this with the crow? I found that crows, like crows are very, very smart. They're very family oriented. They're like dogs. They have a group mentality. So they, since they have that family structure, you can accommodate in them into your family structure, just like you can with a dog. Morgan, come here. Oh, he's eating. And that's pretty much what I've noticed with crows. And that's really the easiest way to do it, is you raise them with pretty much any birds you find. If you find them when they're really young and you raise them, like they kind of become imprinted on whoever they see as mom and dad. And then crows are just smart enough. They have that family structure, that sense of I guess a hierarchy, I guess you could say, that you can do that. And that's what all animals have that are domesticable. Cats and dogs and chickens and cows and just all of them. They all have a pecking order, basically, you could say. And like even chickens, they have a pecking order. And one of the funniest things I heard is that chickens would peck and scratch at each other until they figure out who's top chicken. But at the end of the day, it's the guy who feeds them. He's top chicken. And another thing I noticed, that the crows, as he grows, yeah, it's true they'll try to kill an outsider, an interloper, but they also want to figure out who he is. They want to figure out where he stands in the group. And the other crows, when they see him, they don't know who he is. They don't know where he stands. They don't know where his position is in the crow family. And the only way to figure that out is, you just got to remember, they're animals. Like Antifa, they're animals. The only way they know how to figure that out is to beat them up. That's just what animals do. The wolves do it, and monkeys do it, squirrels do it, chickens do it. They all do it. But humans are supposed to be beyond that. But it's also what makes animals domesticatable. And that's the one thing I found about a crow, is that there's nothing about a crow that is really beneficial. It has everything, all the characteristics an animal needs to be domesticated, but it doesn't offer anything else. Someone mentioned, well, they can deliver messages. Well, yeah, they could deliver messages, but there are plenty of other animals out there that you can use to deliver messages too. If they'd probably would have long since stopped using horses and started using crows to deliver messages. Also, they use hawks, falcons, owls. A lot of these birds that will be much, much less likely to be taken down by another predatory bird or something, where a crow is more at risk to be delivering a message. Or you can always do so who would you say was attacking you the other night? It was definitely an Antifa guy. When I was in San Francisco, that guy was an Antifa. I told the story to somebody, and they said the funniest thing when I said that when Morgan flew away and a hawk came in, she's like, Antifa had hawks? And you gotta forgive her, but yeah, it was the most hilarious thing. Like, no, Antifa didn't have hawks. It was just a wild hawk. That's also a really cool fact about Morgan, something interesting that he's done. He has been everywhere. He's been to Beverly Hills, he's been to Las Vegas, he's been to Austin, he's been to Portland, he's been all the way up to Seattle. 4 different states. He's been to places where there are no crows. No, I wasn't in DC. No, I have never been to DC. I'd like to go, but someday. It would kind of suck that if Trump would lose, and then I'd never had the chance to go to DC while he was president. I almost got to go during the last 4th of July, but that didn't happen. It would have been fun. But from what I heard, it was 85 degrees and raining. I'm not so sure if a guy dresses like me would be so comfortable in 85 degrees and rain. I was in Sacramento. We had like it was like a little offshoot of the Stop the Steal rally that they had in DC. Most people went to DC. I had some people who also went to Las Vegas. I'm not so sure what was happening in Las Vegas that was so big, but a lot of us ended up going to. Some of us who couldn't go that far went to Sacramento. Hi, Terry. Let me see this. Might have missed something. Crows are more civilized than Antifa. Yeah. They actually, crows understand a barter system a lot better. They don't believe in communism. If you keep feeding the crows in your neighborhood, you keep doing that and they get used to it, they'll start to feel guilty about you doing all that hard work for them, and they'll start to pay you in things that they think you find valuable. It could happen. It takes a long time, but it has happened. Sacramento's new. What else? Happy Diwali, guys. You know, guys, that's one of my favorite holidays. Does anybody else have any questions about Morgan? The most important questions I get about Morgan, usually right off the bat, is the most common thing I hear is, "Oh, is that a raven? It's a raven, right?" That's usually it. No, it's a crow. And they'll ask. Let's see. They usually ask, "Where did you get it? Where did you get it?" And the first thing I say is, Morgan, my crow. Morgan. Oh, baby. Morgan is he's my baby. So, thank you guys, for those who've been here through the years. Thank you guys who've been here since 2014. Or wait, 2014. 2017. The March for Trump. That was the beginning of all this, if you guys remember. I was wondering to myself, are we going to do anything else, or is that it? And we had the March for Trump. And still... Yeah, that's right. Still to this day, if I mention Berkeley, people are still, like, afraid to go to Berkeley. I think we met in 2017, Terry. That's where the whole breakout happened. It was in 2017, and I finally started meeting people that I never knew before, and it was a big wonder for me. Like I was saying, are we gonna do anything else? And we did the March for Trump, and it was a fucking blood fest. One that have been shot. I only ask about it because I got one from the vet once that had been shot. It did not survive, unfortunately. Oh, that's sad. But he did not think I needed a license. Well, for the most part, owning a crow is like smoking pot. You're not hurting anybody. Nobody's going to mess with you. And if you really think about it, I was driving one day, not that long ago. I saw on the horizon all this crows. Must have been like 400 crows flying. And I thought for a second, listen, what about the burning? Yeah. The story Crowman was telling at the, and Morgan just flew off and then returned when all is good. Yeah, Morgan's learning. He's learning very fast. He was just a baby when I got him. I'm sorry if I keep getting off track. I don't even remember half the things I was last talking about. But then I read you guys' comments, and it reminds me of things. But yeah, Morgan is he's learned a lot. He doesn't even poop on my bed anymore. So, and at the beginning, birds poop a lot already, and babies really poop a lot. So combining a baby with a bird, it's a freaking mess. So it's a lot of cleanup. Never drunk. Thank you. Yeah, I remember with Terry, I've gone to... Was it 2? I think we went to San Francisco once. We went to one Bernie rally. That was fun. That was actually really fun. I was really surprised to see that there wasn't anybody else there. We didn't go to agitate, but I did kind of snicker at some things. I couldn't help it. He had a good crowd. I ran into a girl I met in high school there. Shout out to my brother, by the way. It's his birthday. But yeah, that was a good time. I got really drunk. We all got really drunk. That's where we met the dude. That's where we met the dude. It was a long time ago. I figured out that wasn't the case. Also, slow down. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Terry. I I did have a live stream of another Bernie rally I went to, and it got taken down. Yes. The way the Morgan behaves is a true sign of intelligence. I've had in ignorant dogs before that you couldn't teach anything. Oh yeah, he's the best. What he's started to do now, the cutest thing that he's started to do. Sorry, it is cute. In the morning, when he gets up, see, I cover up my windows to try and let in as little light as possible. But just enough light comes in that he can see, and he'll hop down, and he'll fall asleep on my back or my shoulder or whatever. Yes, they bite. They bite. He bit me in the first week and a half, and I had a line that went down my chin because he just went like that. And every time he bites my hand, it always gets infected. They're little, they carry germs. You know. He's actually being really calm right now, and that's pretty neat. So, a lot of people ask like, how do you find a crow? I'll tell you this: if you want a bird, I'll just say a bird that is um, a local bird, a blue jay, a robin, whatever. You just go online and you look up what noise it makes and when it's a baby. And when the spring comes, late April to mid June, listen for that sound. Listen for the sound that that specific bird makes when it's a baby. And there's a chance you might come across one that's not up in a tree in a nest, but maybe fallen down on the ground and needs a new mom. And that's how I found just about every single one of my crows. Not all of them. The first one, yeah. First one, his name was Ivan. I found him on my way to school when I was 17. He couldn't, there was nothing he could do. I had to take him home. He was right there on a busy highway, well, a road. So I just carried him to school, and I had him for 4 years. I had him the longest running crow. He eventually grew up and he flew away. Second crow I had was I didn't name him because I could tell something was wrong. He just jumped up from a field, and I took him home, and he said everything seemed cool, but at the end of the day something seemed not so right. He seemed to be losing energy every day, and he wasn't really eating very much, and he was attracting ants, so it was sick. Good thing he didn't get us sick. um, but unfortunately he eventually died. And then the next one I found, I think the same year, just same season, but it had been attacked by a hawk. I don't even think it was a baby. I think it might have been a little bit older. But this thing was completely traumatized, and it wouldn't trust me at all. And the thing was all beat up, and its wing was messed up. Half of the top of its beak was like gone, ripped off, and but this thing had 10 times as much energy as the one I just found a couple weeks before, and it was putting up a fight. It did not want to die, so I took that one to a humane center and let them deal with it. And they looked at the condition of it, and I could see the look in their face that they were like, man, this thing's in poor condition. But I was like, no, this thing is a fighter. All right, he does not want to die, so just maybe do him a favor. I don't know. Dropped him off. Let me see, that was number 3. It was number 4. Number 4 I found in 2015 or 14. I couldn't keep that one. I took it to a humane center, and then The people I was with, they couldn't. I wasn't allowed to have any pets. And then that was. What's up, dude? Oh, damn, skull fracture. Holy crap. I might have been. Shrooms. Oh, yeah. What's that, Ann Coulter? Yeah, Morgan's really good. Morgan's doing fine. Oh, Morgan he's about to be 6 months. Actually, you just reminded me. I am sorry. The 17th is also Morgan's birthday. I can't believe it. Today is Morgan's birthday, and I thought I was forgetting something. Today he's 6 months old. Happy birthday, Morgan. So in the wild, crows live about 15 years, but they've been known to live up to 25 years. In captivity, they live 20 to 30 years, and they've been known to live up to 60. I think the record is 59 years old. Crows can live to be very, very old. That's a common question I get too, is how old is Morgan? And can Morgan fly? Morgan can fly. As you probably saw in the live stream earlier, he flew across the room and landed on his perch right there. But he doesn't like to fly. He likes to fly, but he doesn't like to go anywhere that's unfamiliar. He hates things that are unfamiliar. That's a common thing with smart birds that have a lot of intelligence. They do not like things that are unfamiliar. So he doesn't like unfamiliar faces. He doesn't like strangers. He doesn't like gloves. He hates people with gloves. He hates masks. He does not like the whole mask thing. That is what I actually was going to. Yeah. Yeah, they could almost. I think an African gray can live up to 80 years. So they can live. So I guess these smarter birds live for a really long time. What are you looking at? He has poked me in the eye too. He's actually poked me in this eye twice. He blinded me for half a day one time while I was driving out in the desert. Oh, it's a baby. No. So he's got a lot to learn though, but he's learning very fast, and it's the best. It's the coolest thing to just see them grow up and learn. And man, I can't wait for him to be much older. If I can't handle a crow as a baby, I can't handle a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, you can teach a crow to talk. They're very vocal. They have lots of vocalizations. So, like a parrot, they can learn. They can learn some words. They can't learn as many words as like a raven or a parrot, but they can learn some things. Let me see that again. Yeah, I don't know about the splitting the tongue thing. I'm not sure about that. Um, but I do know they can just learn how to talk. They can learn how to say things because they try to learn their people, the language of the people that they're with. And one thing I also know is that crows they actually name their captor. So a crow will they have a special squawk that they give to the person who owns them when they come into the room. Like they name them. So who's really a pet, right? That's a classic. The splitting thing, yeah. Anyways, I don't want this to go on too long. I've got my half hour in. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed this. And I need to do this more often, to be honest. I'll have these events, and I'll need to come and talk about them afterwards. And I just, I don't know. so tired. You have no idea. I'm like trying to balance a day job to pay my bills, and then I do all of this too, and I get all these calls to go, and nobody pays me to do any of this. And I lose time at work to come out and do these things, and my dad's a libertarian, but he's starting to get not too happy with all the time that I'm setting aside to do all this, especially when it doesn't pay any bills or anything. It's just guzzling gas and sometimes even getting into time that I should be spending working to do something that I know is important, but it's a tough situation. No, I honestly, nobody's interested in anything but politics. Yeah. I remember I actually ended up making all those dream catchers. I made a whole bunch of them, and I never still got them. Remember when I said I was going to start making dream catchers? This one isn't finished, but I got a whole bunch of them in there that are stacked up and finished. I never bothered to. Still haven't set anything up to sell them. I don't know why. COVID. Let's blame COVID. You want me to be sending things from my house when I could be sick? My handmade crafts? Fucking COVID. Could be. Anyways, maybe I'll be moving soon. That'd be nice. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make Gonzo journalism great again. On my next, the next event I go, we're gonna do something a little fun. Mr. Jumbo here is gonna join me, and we will make Gonzo super great. Because when you do Gonzo, it takes the veil away from all this political bullshit. You guys have a good night.